Hi everyone, it's me, Beatty Kelly Sunflower. So I'm on today to do an unboxing of my first order from the One Emporium shop. Got a lovely thank you card, I think it is. Let me open it up. It's got Merry Christmas at the bottom of it. Take this off slowly. Oops, today's it, oh dear. And I've got some other cards. So I've got the Five of Cups. I think this could be the Moonchild Tarot if I'm right. Do let me know in the description bar. The Moonchild is a tarot deck that I've got on my wish list. So it's nice to have a card for it. Then I've got, this is the Dark Wood Mini. Five of Wands. And I'm not sure what this is called. This is an Ace of Wands, but this is another mini deck. The deck came wrapped up in this beautiful Christmas tissue paper. Let's just throw all these bits in the bin. So let's do the back of the box before I take off the plastic packaging. Introducing the Black Goddess Within Oracle, a 44 card deck and guidebook created by Dr. Javini Washington that features untouched photographs of contemporary Black women stitched into ancient African myths and sites of power, as well as images of ancestral generation and guidance. The magic, medicine and mysticism on these stunning cards are intended to help you access healing, call up divine guidance and honor the divinity within. Okay, so let's open up this beautiful deck. So this deck is a Hay House publication. It comes with a lift-off box, but it's a bit stiff, so do excuse me. So let's have a look inside. So the inside states, Goddess and ancestors from beyond, they love, protect, teach, guide and collaborate. You are invited to connect with their medicine. So these are the cards, which I'll go through in a minute. It also comes with a guidebook, which is 115 pages. It's got a very nicely written out content page. It gives you an introduction. It talks about the ancestors, blood, milk, spirit and spirit lines. Who is the deck for? Who is in the deck? How to prepare to use the deck, card features, how to do readings, sample readings, single card spread, 3-card spread, past, present and future, 3-card spread, ancestral lines, blood, milk and spirit. And when it goes into each of the cards. So let's read a bit about the introduction. Welcome to your magical Black Goddess journey. The Black Goddess Within Oracle deck is a collaborative labour of love dedicated to centering Black beauty, Black divinity and Black joy. The original Black Goddess Within deck was a self-published indie deck created in response to the historical vilification of the Black body. Its aim was to change the narrative around Black bodies, women and people through images of goddesses from all over Africa. This looks interesting. What is an ancestor, blood, milk and spirit lines? Strictly speaking, an ancestor is a person from whom you are descended, who is no longer living. In spiritual spaces, the term ancestors is used to refer to those who now reside on the other side of the veil. In this conceptualization, ancestors are not required to be related to you by blood. The ancestral community is typically held in high regard and is considered a resource in the navigation of traumatic experiences and troubled histories. Who is in this deck? This deck features contemporary black women meeting goddesses from Africa. We endeavour to showcase the full spectrum of blackness, including a range of hair types, complexions, heights, shapes, queerness, disabilities, and even chronic illness. Why all the women are black? Blackness in Africa are not monolithic, and we celebrate the diversity therein. You can learn more about each of the lives and passions of the women in this deck and then it gives you a website. Then it tells you how to prepare the use of the deck, the card features, how to do a reading, 1 card spread, 3 card spread. It's quite detailed actually, and the writing is not small, because I'm finding nowadays that a lot of guidebooks have really small print and you have to use a magnifying glass to read it, but this one's quite good. And then it outlines each of the cards. So for example, Abok, which is 1. Oh, Dinka, I've got a few friends for Dinka and Sudan. Abok, goddess of fertility, reigns over plant and water. Her powers stem from the conditions of her birth. The supreme being planted seeds in clay pots from which she and her husband emerged, fully formed after an eternal night. Because she sprang from seas, Abok embodies the wisdom of the harvest. Now, I'm not going to read it all out because I'm a bit tongue twisted today. I don't know why. Now let's see about the author. I love to read about the author. Dr. Guyvini, I hope that's right, Washington, is a trained biologist, epidemiologist, and ethnographer whose mission is to increase black representation in spiritual spaces. In 2020, she published the original Black Goddess Within Oracle deck, a 13-card indie deck that at the time was the only deck featuring photographs of black women embodying goddesses from Africa. Coming from a lifelong of educators, moonshine makers and medicine women, Gavini evidently believes anyone can reach the next level and gently supports her clients as they migrate from one place to the next. Guyvini is dedicated to creating products and programs that amplify black beauty, reconnect to the deep roots of black divinity, and encourage the full expression of black joy. Gavini earned her PhD from UCLA's Department of the World Arts of Cultures after studying and performing percussive healing traditions from all over the world. When she isn't talking to the ancestors, she enjoys hiking with her husband, son, and her pup, Pumpkin. To learn more about Gavini and her work, visit, and then it gives you the website. Okay. Let's have a look at the cards. So they're the usual Hay House matte finish. They're not edged, which is fine because that means you can edge them yourself. Let's compare the deck to a ordinary RWS deck. They're a lot wider and taller. They're more like oracle size. I love that the backs have got the continent of Africa, and it looks like the sun is shining down on the continent. So I'm not going to pronounce all of these names because I don't want to get told off if I pronounce them wrongly. So a Bok, and as you can remember, this is a Sudanese goddess. Well, it's described as Dinka, and to me, Dinka people are very, very dark. So someone like Alex Weck, she's a supermodel. That's what Dinkas look like. This person doesn't look Dinka to me, but that I'm just saying. So you got Aja, Akoindi. I wish that there was a few keywords underneath here, and I also wish as well that it had the country of the goddess as well, the African country that the goddess is associated to. Allah. Anuket. Bonzi. Ifri, Mumbi. I love the four-figuredness of this goddess. Very four-figured. I love it. Embracing her natural hair. Just gorgeous. Nambi. Oshun. Love the face art. Alignment. Altar. Blessings. Celebrations. Communications. Divination. Elevation. Grief. Imagination. Intuition. Memory. Protection. Restoration. Rhythm. Source. So it looks like that they're not all goddesses. Some of the cards are different cards. I just want to see what it says in the book about the other cards then, because that wasn't clear in the index. I thought it was just going to be 44 goddesses. Really, there's only 29 goddesses and then 14 other cards. So, have a look. Okay, so there's another section called Ancestral Wisdom. And that's what includes the other cards, like the altar and the blessings, etc. Okay, so it's only 29 goddesses. Okay, so let's talk about pairings of this deck. So there's two decks that I'd like to pair with this deck. The first one is called Love Your Body. This is another Hay House Oracle deck. The reason why I'd pair this deck is because this deck's all about body shapes and stuff like that, or not being embarrassed of your body. And another deck that I'd like to use is Melanade Stand Tarot deck, which is a photographic melanated tarot deck. And I thought that it would go beautiful as it's a photographic deck. Okay, so let's put them all up. I think I've changed my mind. I think I might use this deck, the African Goddess Rising, because it's a Hay House publication deck. It's also borderless, and I think this deck here would pair better than this tarot deck. So sorry about that. So this is more of a matte finish and this is more of a gloss finish, but I think that the color palette really matches. And even though this one doesn't match, it's to do with like appreciating your body, so that's why I would use it with this one. But the actual colouring doesn't necessarily go, but it's just the context to me that goes. But I think these two decks really do go, because the colouring to me is spot on, even though they're different textures, i.e. glossy and matte. Such a nice combination. Okay, so let's give these cards a shuffle before I give my first impressions. These cards shuffle like a dream. They're really, really smooth. I wonder if this is a message for me. I'm going to read this card actually in a minute. So I'm an overhand shuffler, but a riffle shuffler might not get the same experience because these cards don't bend as easy back into shape. So what are my first impressions? It's an interesting deck. I love the vibrancy of the deck. I love that it's numbered. But I would have preferred to have a few keywords and maybe the African country, or maybe the suit as well, from what these cards are. I'm a bit disappointed that it's only 29 goddess cards, but but that was just my own assumption that it will be all goddesses. But I like the idea of a separate suit as well anyway. Appreciation. Let me just go to the goddesses. Some of the goddess, like the first one, to me is a bit off, because Dinka people are not usually as light skinned. They're normally quite dark, quite you know, black blue in complexion, and are usually 100% African in DNA tests, because it's only recently that they started to mix with other cultures. So I did find it quite interesting that Dinka card was depicted by a fairer skin person, but that's just me being finicky. But apart from that, it's a nice deck. I think it's going to be a deck that I use for myself rather than other people, because I'm going to have to use it in conjunction with the guidebook and possibly learn the goddesses, which is a good project that I'm looking forward to doing. But it's absolutely stunning. Look at that. And I love the fact that she's used full-figured women. Look at this, beautiful. Being full-figured myself, I love to see full-figured women depicted in cards. Look at that. I look forward to using this deck. So I just want to have a quick read for this card, because this is the card that fell out when I was shuffling, and it's card 17, and it's Mumbai. So let's see what the book says about Mumbai. Mumbai is the great sustainer of life. She and her husband Gaikuyi lived with their blessing of 10 daughters on the slopes of Kenya. From her mountainous vantage points, Mumbai surveys the world that she created in her image. Mother of all the Kaluki clans, Mambu instilled in her daughters the principles of business and self-determination. Gikayu made an offering to the supreme gods Nagi in hopes of finding suitors for 9 of her daughters. Nagi provided 9 partners for Mumbai's daughters. They would be allowed to marry as long as the men agreed to live under a matriarchal system. The 9 clans of Kilkayu, named after Mambi's daughter, are known as the most entrepreneurial group in Kenya. Mabi reminds you that you are more than capable. You have the ability to achieve beyond your wildest imagination. In times of doubt, know that you can borrow Mambi's determination. Held in her benevolent embrace, you are safe outside your comfort zone. If you are pulling this card, the ancestors want to remind you that business, enterprise, and victorious success are in your DNA. Your dreams are more than achievable. You have what you need to create the life you want. Identify your zone of genius and ask the ancestors for support. Invitation. Energy flows to you and away from you in an easy rhythm. You are already capable, supported and successful. And then it gives you also the variations of this goddess as well. I haven't pronounced everything right, but I don't want to be bashed for that, because sometimes, you know, it's difficult to pronounce things if your accent is one way. But I have tried. Okay, so I would have liked on this card to have just in brackets Kenya, because obviously this is a Kenyan goddess, and then it would have been nice to have a few keywords, like for example it says here that she's the goddess of business and enterprise and success. So even so, they could have put words like success, business and enterprise on the card as well, just to give the reader a pointer, because sometimes it's quite tedious looking in guidebooks all the time. But if the cards do have keywords, that's better for me. But that's just my own personal thing. And again, I would have liked to have had the African country, because I see Africa as a continent of countries, not a big country. So it's nice to know the different cultures within the African countries, or the different goddesses within the African countries. But overall, this is a very interesting deck, and I really look forward to working with it. So I will leave links to this deck in the description bar, and I will also leave a link for the one in Thorin shop where I purchased this deck. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.